When we're looking at classifying triangles, there's two ways to classify triangles. One is by side length, and the other is by angle length. So if you're looking at side lengths first, we have something called an equilateral triangle. So you can see that all these sides are equal, and you can see that by these little tick marks. That's what these little tick marks mean. One tick mark on all three sides means all three sides are the same length. And so that's called an equilateral triangle. The next one is an isosceles triangle. Watch the spelling on that. I-S-O-S-C-E-L-E-S. In that kind of triangle, two sides are equal. Now, it could be the short sides that are equal in a triangle like this, where this side, whoops, my pen is going a bit kablooey, where it could look like this. An isosceles triangle can look like that as well. But the key is exactly two sides are equal. And then the last one is scalene, where all three sides are different. Those are the three ways we can classify triangles by side length. Equilateral, all three sides equal. Isosceles, two sides equal. And scalene, all sides different. One way that I like to remember that is in isosceles, there are two S's and two sides are equal. Two S's and two E's, so two sides are equal. The other way to classify triangles is by angle measure. You can have an acute triangle where all angles are less than 90 degrees. So all of these angles here, if we were to take a protractor and measure them, they would all be less than 90 degrees. And 90 degrees is a right angle. So here's 90 degrees right here. So all of them are going to be less. Then we have, speaking of right angles, we have something called a right triangle, which has exactly one 90-degree angle, which is right over here. This is our 90-degree angle. And so there are many ways we can see what a right triangle could look like that. It can be a little bit skinnier. It can be, like that. Any triangle where there's one right angle, that's called a right triangle. That's pretty easy to remember. And then the opposite kind of situation to acute would be obtuse. That's one angle greater than 90 degrees. That's this one here. So if this is a 90-degree angle, then anything bigger, like this would be an obtuse angle, this would be an obtuse angle. Anything bigger than 90 degrees would be an obtuse triangle. And that's how we classify triangles by angle measurements. We have acute, right, and obtuse. And by side length, we have equilateral, isosceles, and scalene.